people, United Central here, back with another video. I'm back with my two guys, the legendary guys, the main man of Hume, the main man of Oldham, oh my days, we have the two legendary. It's back, the Straightjacket podcast is back. I said we're back every week, and we are, and this is podcast 66, guys, the Straightjacket podcast. I'm going to start with my two guys, obviously, Nuruddin and Aaron. Aaron, we're going to start with you. How are you today, bro?
Same old, bro. Still on lockdown. Still enjoying life. Still trying to survive. And before we started this podcast, obviously Nuruddin was a bit late, so I said the reason why Nuruddin is late is because he's been chatting to Neil Ashton.
Neil Ashton. Come on, I've always known you liked Neil Ashton, so maybe it's time to tell the world you have a soft spot for Neil Ashton.
You know what I'm saying? Because he always accuses you of talking to him. Maybe it's him.
Exactly.
Yo, just imagine if I'm Superman, Neil Ashton is my kryptonite.
Wow.
Stay away, everybody.
So you're always away from him.
We stay away.
Wow.
Maybe it's you, bro.
Saeed, I know Saeed made him homeless and all that. You know what I mean? Saeed kicked him out. You know what I mean? Soon as
Kicked him out, man. They weren't delivering the Sancho news. You know what I mean? I wanted data right now. I wanted the confirmation of Sancho coming, but he was like, nah, it's a bit dry at the minute. I said, yo, listen, on your bike then, mate. On your bike.
Saeed kicked him out because soon as Saeed had the Poch story with Newcastle, Saeed was like, pack your bags.
You know what? I'm gutted about that. I really am gutted about that. You know what I mean? I think it's going to be a manager that we could have had to be here for years, but I think he'll wait. So I'm still lingering on to any hope possible. But no, what are you telling me, man? How's things? How's how's life treating you?
Today was a good day, man. Today was a good day. Got my fruit and veg in. You know what I mean? We have a quiz. We do a quiz in the co-op. And everybody comes out of their houses. You know where I live. Everybody comes out of their flats, and we all do a quiz on a Sunday.
Well, like a speakerphone. Who's got a speakerphone?
No. People just shout it out, man.
Wow.
Yeah. You know what? We've got some people have got like a speaker and a microphone. Yeah.
All right. Okay.
That must be sick, man.
You know what you should do, though? You know what you should do? Someone should do like a concert inside the middle. So basically, because you've got all the balcony on top, yeah? Someone should be like doing a concert. Yeah, listen, man, sort this idea out, man, a concert. Man. Someone in the middle.
I might have to get Papoose on the show, you know what I mean?
No, Papoose, you know. We're still waiting for the Papoose link up, bro.
Yo, serious.
Oh, my God.
The contract agreements there, Aaron. They sorted out the contract agreements between Papoose and...
I might have to bring a negotiator in. I think Neil Ashton is the right one.
Yeah. It might take money off you, mate. It might take money off you.
Snatch him off the streets, did it? Snatch him off,
man. Trust me. But I think that's the least of our worries, man. Well, obviously, we'll start off with the Premier League update and whatnot, because I feel like we only have it's right to talk about the Premier League update. And Aaron, they've basically had a meeting about nothing, basically. The meeting was basically, I hate these meetings, man, seriously. They have a meeting about nothing that we already knew already. Like, seriously, we already know you're going to have a meeting to talk about, it's still not safe to do so. Like, I don't want to know that. I want to know is, when is football back? When is Old Trafford lights back? When am I going to go walk down Stretford Road? I'm going to go see Old Trafford and see it. But you know what, Aaron? People like Aguero saying they're scared. People like West Ham today saying, I'm not back if we're not playing at home. I'm like, yo, listen, you're playing football either way. So people are making excuses already, Aaron. And they're saying, Premier League have said, we're not going to play until everything's government guidelines is fit to say so. And you know what, mate? Still people are dying. Still things are happening. It's still not clear. You know what I mean? PSG, French League have said, you know what? Abandon it. We're not doing anything to do with that. And the Premier League are still stubborn. That's what they are in the Premier League. They're stubborn. And they're still saying there's a glimmer of hope. But people like Aguero are coming out saying, yo, listen, man, I got family out here, man. I got family out here.
Listen, I can only agree with what Aguero's saying, because at the end of the day, he's scared for him and his family. Just, you know what I'm saying? Like, even though you're a professional footballer and you get, high wages and stuff every week, this is still something where, like, what are we going to do? I know we've asked this question a lot on our shows, but what are we seriously going to do if the Premier League starts again? They test all the players, they test the staff, they test the referees and the officials and whatever. They test everyone. And one person catches it. What are we going to do? Because now, we talked about the Bundesliga possibly coming back. The decision was meant to be made this week or next week. It's been pushed further by another week. Do you know why? because they tested all the players of every team in the Bundesliga, and 3 players of FC Cologne have tested positive for coronavirus. So
wow, I heard about that, you know.
What do we do if that happens to the Prem? What do we do? Do we then lock it off and say, listen, we're not going to do it? Like you say, bro, they're just being stubborn, bro. They only care about the revenue when really and truly they should be caring about people's lives and people's health, man. And it's really, as much as I want football to come back right now, it's really getting annoying. And this is like talking to a stubborn kid that doesn't want to listen. Like, listen, it's not working. Do you see what I'm saying?
But no, did you echo that what Aaron said there? Are you thinking just divide the league, man? This is too complicated, man. This is really is too complicated.
Yeah.
It's just, you know what, everybody was getting gassed about Germany, but you know the Germans, you know, they do things proper, innit? And I was quite actually shocked. I was quite shocked and surprised that there was only 3 players that tested positive. Because if you looked at it, you know what I mean, it could have been a lot more players that could have tested positive.
Yeah.
But as soon as Premier League players heard the news that some people tested positive, everybody's like, I don't know about that. Because what you could be is asystematic. This virus is moving like madness. So you could be asystematic, but then you could give it somebody. And you might not flare up. You might not have all the symptoms. Give it to somebody, and somebody could die, man. So it's madness.
And the thing is, people forget, like, football. I don't know if people understand it properly. Like, football is a contact sport. Do you know what I mean? There's gonna be pushing. There's gonna be shoving. There's gonna. What are you gonna do? Like, oh no, keep your distance.
Like Phil Jones.
Yo, how many times have you seen footballers spitting on the pitch or blowing the nose and everything like that?
Yeah.
Suarez biting people, you know what I mean? Suarez,
please no.
Phil Jones trying to like grab you up and that, you know what I'm saying? Like, there's a lot of people that use physical sport anyway and try to, like, you know. So it's going to be a crazy one, but we're already talking about training happening there, Noah. You were talking about training. You were saying a funny thing when I called you the other day and said, you know what am I not going to do in terms of training, in terms of if they do say, like, we're going to allow training on May, I don't know, was it May or something? End of May, something like that. If they do allow training, how are they going to do training in terms of 2 meters apart, the dressing room? You know what I mean? Training. You're talking about no showers, no
showers. Yeah, that's what I read. That's what I read. United are advising people not to have. They can't have a shower. They have to take their home kit, go home in their stinking kit, mate. Stinking out their cars, bro. Could you imagine that? So they're going back in their cars, swinking, smelly, like when you're all wet in it, full of sweat. Especially the woman's a bit warmer now. And then they can't even have showers there. They have to go home. Like, and then stink out their cars, mate.
Stink out their cars, or hashtag stink out their cars.
They have to wash their own kits, man. Can you make it a shocker? They have to wash their own kits.
Oh, you know what? That's crazy. It's gone from wash your matty, to now wash your kit.
Wash your kit, mate. Wash your kit.
Wash your kit,
mate. Wash everything.
I tell you what, the kit man's going to be very, very happy. He's going to be doing no jobs. You know what I mean? This is going to be going out there and just relaxing. But
kit man celebrating, mate. As soon as the kit man heard that, mate, he threw a party.
It's be like, this is what you footballers should be doing all your careers. You know what I mean? You've been having too much stuff here. I'm on a low wage on you all lot, and I'm washing your clothes, mate. You know what I mean? But yeah, man. Obviously, this is podcast 66. We're going to talk about Man United, obviously, and we're going to talk about Ole Gunnar Solskjær. Something that, you know, people say to me that I try to divert away. You know what I mean? The Ole juice, you know what I mean? Shout out to the Ole juice. But Aaron, this is a podcast I'm going to talk about, and I want to be fair and honest, and I'm going to say to you this: is Ole Gunnar Solskjær the main man, or is he the middleman? And what I mean by that is, he the middleman, or in terms of, is he going to be the stepping stone for the new manager to come in? Is he going to be the person that, you know, gives the bare fruits to say a kind of, I don't know, a better manager out there that can basically thrive off his, you know, successes and, you know, the transfers and all the whatnot? Or is he going to be the main man that I think now, you know what, people are starting to believe Ole and starting to say, you know what, he could be the one that can take us to the next forward, to take us to the next level. Where are you sitting in terms of Ole Gunnar Solskjær, in terms of the main man or the middle man? Because for me, people can't deny the fact that how bad we were before Bruno Fernandes. And that will always, for me, be the stepping point of where Ole Gunnar Solskjær is. Because he still had a good team, but then it took Bruno Fernandes to take Ole Gunnar Solskjær to the next level. I don't know about you, Aaron, but where are you on this standpoint, and what can you say about it?
I think he's more of a middleman. I think everyone can agree on a lot of people, not many, we don't know, can agree on the fact that, you know, he's someone to come in and kind of steady the ship and, you know, bring back some of the values that we've lost over the years. I think a lot of, as much as I liked Van Gaal and as much as everything seemed okay at first with Jose, a lot of the values that we had as a club have been lost. And Ole kind of he brought it back. Do you know what I mean? He brought it back. You know, we had a lot of youngsters playing on the pitch under Van Gaal. But with Jose, it was kind of drifted away because he brought a lot of players in that were already old and experienced. And although, like I said, we had a lot of youngsters coming through, you know, he played Tuanzebe a lot because I remember Jose liked Tuanzebe a lot. Gave him his debut against Arsenal, which was not easy, and he really did well. Remember, he pocketed Sanchez and stuff. So a lot of the things, you know, such as, you know, bringing in players through the youth ranks, and things like that have been brought back by Ole. The only thing that I'm worried about is, you know, now the tactical aspect of things and making the right decisions at the right time, the in-game management, you know, handling the press conferences as well, because at times, even Nudin at some point was like, mate, what are you saying? Just see what I'm saying? So when I look at all these things in one package, I can say that he's more of a middleman to come and steady the ship and prepare stuff for the next manager that's going to come in and, you know, take us to that next level. Personally, I don't believe we'll be able to win the Premier League with Ole. I think other trophies like the FA Cup, trophies like, well, we're not in the Carabao Cup no more, but supposedly, let's say we were still in it, cups like the Carabao Cup, the FA Cup, even the Europa League, I believe we can win it because we do have the quality. But I'm looking at this and saying, is Ole a good manager because he's got good in-game tactics and good in-game management, or are we a good team because, or does he seem like a good manager because he just has a bunch of good players that can, you know, bail him out every single time, and whenever things get peak, you know, Pogba can step up, Bruno Fernandes can step up, and that little piece of, you know, sheer moment of quality can save us against the little team. And do you see what I mean? Like, are we a good team because of that, or are we a good team because when things get peak, you know, Ole does a mad tactical change and then changes the formations up and tweaks little things here and there, and then boom, we win the game because of, you know, that one moment of brilliance in terms of managing. I think it's more of the first option. I think we seem like a good team because we've got good players and that's it. But when things get peak, he doesn't seem to know how to get himself out of those situations. And I think to be a good manager, you have to be able to coach yourself out of situations. I'm gonna make what is a good substitution that, you know, led to a goal lately from a manager? I don't know. World Cup 2014. Holland is playing against, I can't remember who it was. Was it
Argentina?
Argentina.
Yeah.
I didn't think, you know, the number one was tired. I thought, okay, cool. He's been in there for 90 minutes, 120 minutes. He can go for another penalty shootout. Nah, mate. He takes the goalkeeper out and puts in Tim Krul. Nobody understood why. And everyone was saying at the time when you made that substitution, everyone was like, Van Gaal's crazy. Van Gaal's crazy. Nah, he knew exactly what he was doing. Put in Tim Krul in there, and he saved about 3-4 pens. Do you see what I mean? I'm talking about those levels of managing, those levels of making a decision and having it 100% right, knowing what you're doing. Because right now, it seems like Ole is here and he loves the club, and it's all too much based around emotions, which is not wrong. Don't get me wrong. But when you're trying to get to the top, or when you're trying to be up there in the conversation again with, you know, United is the best team in the country at this moment, because we are in terms of history, but this moment, to get up there in the conversation with Liverpool and City, I think we're going to need better than just Ole Gunnar Solskjær.
Nuruddin, you know what? This reminds me of Van Gaal, and Aaron's pointing it out there. We had a bad manager in David Moyes. We got Van Gaal, who was a stepping stone in terms of he brought morale in terms of that. Then we had a Jose Mourinho, who was a bad manager in terms of what he did for the club, in terms of how he kind of, you know, was the bad man in terms of he was a villain in the football club, and he just didn't want to succeed at United. And then you have Ole Gunnar Solskjær. So is he basically the Norwegian Van Gaal? Because Van Gaal brought a kind of sense of, he brought the youth in. Ole Gunnar Solskjær is bringing the youth in now. He kind of didn't play attractive football. I don't think Ole Gunnar Solskjær is playing tactical football in terms of it's bringing out of the world, and we're not dominating teams for 90 minutes. Van Gaal did a lot of stuff behind the scenes in terms of, trying to get a technical director in there. Ole Gunnar Solskjær looks like he's trying to do that. You know what I mean? Is there an argument to say, is he like Van Gaal? So is he basically like Van Gaal, where he was a stepping stone again for another manager?
Yeah, I mean, his reign has been mixed, innit? So he had a brilliant start, then we petered off to his first season. He came in at Christmas in January.
Similar, isn't it? Ole Gunnar Solskjær came in very well, then it petered off.
Yeah. So he peaked out. So yeah, there is some similarity, especially with the youth, like giving the youth a chance. There is a similarities in that. But I think the best man manager we've had for a long time since Fergie is Ole Gunnar Solskjær, in terms of man managing, like managing the players. I think some of what you said, both of you, I agree. There's some bits of it I think that's a bit unfair. I think we're never going to know. Time will tell if we know Ole. But to me, one thing I would say about it, the best managers in the world don't win. Their tactics don't work jack. I mean, we had the tactical genius of geniuses. The football in the last 30 years, the number one guy, they said, is a tactical genius. We had him at Man United. That was Jose Mourinho. And he failed, miserably failed. At the end, it got so toxic. People weren't coming to the games. I have never known, even, I've asked people that would go there before Fergie. They have never said, so many fans, he turned so many fans off. Nobody wanted to go. He was stinking the place out, literally stinking the place out. With his attitude, with everything. So, to me, managers, you have to have little bits of quality in each. You have to be a tactical guy. You have to be a good man management. You have to be, bring through the youth. You have to be see the long-term vision. You need to go and buy the right players to fit in the right positions. I think I would definitely think that this has been the best transfer since Fergie. Because in terms of
not Van Gaal, Falcao, Di Maria.
I don't really rate Maguire. But he's had some shoky moments. But in the last couple of months, as the team form picked up, everybody's form picked up. And he has been. And the bit where I picked with you, Saeed, where you were a bit unfair to him, saying that, Bruno Fernandes bailed him out. I think that, yes, it's true, Bruno Fernandes coming was a fresher breath air. But Ole had an injury ravaged. I don't remember any manager. I don't remember Mourinho and Van Gaal having injury ravaged teams.
Oh, Van Gaal, definitely. Come on.
Yeah.
Van Gaal had it bad.
Listen, but Van Gaal had players who could play in their positions, and he's more of a footballing coach, the Ajax way of playing.
He had a system, five at the back.
Yeah, he had a system, and we were kept passing the ball back. The ball never went forward. The ball used to go back. We had this thing. I think there was some stat. We passed the ball from the wing backs back to the centre backs, right? More times than any team in Europe when he was there. Our pass completion from wing backs to our centre.
100%. Jones, 100%. Oh my God.
But I think in terms of quickening the pace of the attack, in terms of using pace, definitely Ole's bought that. But I always said, any manager is only good as the players that he has. If you've got good players as a manager, I definitely think in the next phase of Ole's career at Man United, he will come under a lot of pressure. If Man United were to get Sancho, if Man United were to get Grealish, people are saying to me, we can't have Pogba, you can't have Grealish. I'm like, who? You can't have Giggs, you can't have Beckham, you can't have, Scholes, you can't have Keane, you can't have, what's his name? The guy that used to play, Swedish guy, Jakob Blomqvist, Poborski. What are you talking about? Of course, you can have good players. You can never have too much good. You can not have enough good players in your team. And at Man United, we need competition for places. We need everybody to be on their toes, and that's what squads that wins you a league. The idea that every player in that team is guaranteed. You should only have maybe 3 or 4 guarantees in a team. Everybody else, because squads wins. Squad challenges for leagues, squad wins big trophies, right?
Yeah.
You should have. So I don't. So I think in the next phase, if Man United were to buy better players, I think Ole Gunnar Solskjær is under different sort of pressure. Because
massive pressure.
Yeah, because then I can't make the excuse anymore and say he doesn't have Pogba. You know what I mean? We were begging. This is how things got bad at Manchester United. We were all sweating under the fitness of Scott McTominay.
Wow.
Trust me. Remember when he went off that stretcher in that game?
I was heartbroken.
Oh, listen, I was heartbroken, man. Listen, I was like, no.
I'm here to remind you guys, we're all like that. We're devastated, right? We're devastated. And we wouldn't, like I said, again on this, I've said it many times, without him and Pogba getting injured and Rashford getting injured, we would not have Bruno Fernandes. So it was a blessing.
There you go, guys.
It was a blessing in disguise. But I think, Ole, in terms of creativity, he's dealt with a lot. And I think the next phase, if United were to buy, if the club come back, Ole, is to buy creative players, is to buy a squad full of guys where you can bring guys. You can imagine Grealish coming off the bench to change your game. Do you know what I mean? Sometimes you can play Grealish on the right. Why not? Why can't you play Grealish on the right? He's got a lovely right foot. Do you know what I mean?
The goal against Aston Villa. The goal against us when he
you can play him on the left like some. You know what I mean? You have to have that options. There is going to be injuries. So where does this say that we can't have quality? I remember, like I said, in my lifetime, I was spoiled with quality, like quality of our quality. People look back and go, like Jordi, like like Jordi Cruyff's son. You know what I mean? Yeah, he was a good player, man. Cheeky skills. And people are like, oh, he's not all that. I'm dying for that kind of player now. Do you know what I mean? I'm dying to have those type of players. So the idea that Man United can't sign that, we have to let one go to have the other. No, where does this come from? I don't know. It's these newspapers that are brainwashing people, man. Man like your boy Neil Ashton, mate. I know he brainwashed you, you know what I mean? He brainwashed you so much, but you kicked him out of there, and you know what I mean? I know you kicked him out.
It's out. You know what I mean? He's trying to find the sources and whatnot. But Aaron, nobody talks about players and all this. You need the players, to make the team or whatnot. It's not all about the manager. But then again, you got to look at Niko Kovac, and you look at the way he had a lot of good players. You're looking about people that are in their prime. You know what I mean? Alaba. You know what I mean? The world class players, Coutinho. You know what I mean? Gnabry. But then again, at the end of the day, the tactics weren't great. You know what I mean? He didn't succeed at Bayern. You know what I mean? The fans were on top of him. They didn't like the way he was playing. It just wasn't all good. So, again, that's an argument to say, you know what? Does Ole have it tactically? You could have all the best players in the world, but if you ain't got no tactics, Aaron, then you're not going anywhere. You're not going to go anywhere.
Jump in? You know what? Can I just jump in and say that? Yeah, that's what I'm saying to you. So I'm saying to you, Ole, if United were to sign those good players and United was still messing up, Ole's position becomes untenable then. Do you understand what I'm saying to you?
Yeah, 100%.
Yeah, because that's how big managers get the sack. You're not getting the best out of these players that you do have. But Ole's never had that. He had his defense, and already Man United defense is good, but we're not being a super creative team. And that's the next phase, to get that middle, to get more strength in the middle.
I'm worried about. That is what I'm worried about, Aaron. When you have quality players and you need to put them in a system, and you can't just tell Pogba to you do what you got to do. You got to tell him, listen, man, I want you to do this system, and I want you to follow. Because any day, Pep Guardiola will tell David Silva, no matter how good he is here, I want you tracking back sometimes. I want you doing this. He's going to tell Aguero, I don't care how long you've been at Man City, I want you to run in behind the channels. I want you to do this. So he's going to have to tell players to do certain positions and certain things in a football pitch. Can he do that, Aaron? Or do you think, again, it's just tactically inept?
I think he can do that to a certain extent because, again, I think everyone has seen in the season so far, when we played against the big teams, we were all up for it and we were winning games and not losing many games against top sides. I think, especially Man City, I think the only time we've lost was against them in the Carabao Cup when we lost 3-1 at home.
Yeah.
So against big teams, we can do it. But then the question was always, if we can do it against City, why can't we do it against Burnley? Why can't we do it against... bro, we lost 2-0 at home against Burnley. Remember that?
I lost it.
Awful
That
game.
was my worst day in Old Trafford for about maybe 2000 United fan, mate.
Basic mistakes were made. Substitutions were wrong. We needed a goal. I can't remember what game it was. We needed a goal, and you brought on Luke Shaw, and it was just too many basics.
Does that worry you, Aaron? Does that worry you?
It's worrying because we can't just have seasons. We can't go a whole season expecting us to finish at the top, just beating the top 6 teams and then not win against the other teams. Like, it doesn't work like that.
That's fair.
Like, at the end of the day, the Premier League has 20 teams in it, and we need to be able to beat 19 of them. Do you know what I mean? We need to be able to beat all 19 of them if we realistically want to win the league. But do you know what I mean? Like, we can't just win against City, be all happy, and oh yeah, Ollie's at the wheel, but then we lose against Burnley, and it's like, oh no, but it's okay. Nah, we need to be able to win against everyone. Do you know what I mean? And I think it's absolutely normal for fans to be frustrated when we lose. I think a lot of fans expect us to still be happy when we lose. I mean, last time I checked, I grew up liking to win and hating to lose. I don't like to lose. Do you see what I mean? So
yeah, of course.
I think it's just he can tactically do something to a certain extent. But I've seen something that was very positive lately, and I think it was on Ricky's Twitter account. Shout out to Ricky. He posted. Remember when we played against Everton? Yeah, we were there, Nordin.
Yeah.
We did something that I didn't actually clock until we played against City, and I still didn't clock because I saw it a few days ago. So we see that free kick that we scored against City.
Yeah.
When Martial
stood
still
over the top.
Yeah,
it's a plan. It's a plan.
We tried the same thing against Everton, you know.
Yeah, we did. Yeah,
I know.
I didn't clock it until I actually saw it on his Twitter account. So shout out to Ricky for that because I realized it.
But did you hear Bruno? Did you hear Bruno's version of it though? Did you hear Bruno's version?
I didn't.
Yeah, Bruno's version was that they never planned it, but it was just something in training. It was instinctive between him and Martial. Like they just, if the line up like that, they just do it. It's an instinct thing. It's not something that they truly like work on a lot, but it's the instincts of playing things. And Ollie wants the strikers in the last third to be explosive. Like, to me, that's one thing. So we'll come up to what players Ollie has improved, because that's got to be another question. But anyway, carry on.
So when I saw that, I was like, okay, that's something I can cater to, and I can see and look at it and say, okay, that's something positive. Because like Nordin said, it's something instinctive. And if there's one thing that I want strikers to be, it's instinctive. Don't think 100%. Too much. You know what I mean? Don't think too much. And that's why a lot of us were criticizing Rashford at the start of the season. He was thinking too much. Even though he was playing in the wrong position, he was thinking way too much inside the box. Right now, inside the box, obviously he's playing in a different position. But right now, inside the box is you get the ball, boom, execute. Don't think. And I like that. I like that. And then some of it, you know, you have to be honest and say, Ollie's had an impact on that. Do you know what I mean? He's probably talked to them and said, look, inside the box, you have to be cold. No time to think. It's you get the ball, 2 touches maximum, boom, you shoot. If it goes over, it goes over. Fair enough. But you're a striker. Your bread and butter is to score goals. If you're a forward. So I can look at some of the positives, but you know there are still a lot of things to improve in, and I think that just winning against the big teams and tactically being good against the big teams is not enough, because you still have to do it against the lesser teams. Do you know what I mean? Because it would be an absolute embarrassment if next season, let's say, you know, they void the season and, you know, teams come up from the Championship. It would be an absolute embarrassment. Bro, don't forget, if they do this, by the way, Leeds is coming back up to the Prem. Do you know what I mean? And if there's one thing I don't want to do is lose against Leeds, because that would just be in total embarrassment. And it would show the levels that we're at and the levels that they're at. Because how is it that we're still in the Prem? We've been in the Premier League for all these years. Leeds has gone down, come back up, and they win against us? That would be an embarrassment. And like you said it there, Saeed, it's against Marcelo Bielsa. And Nordin has explained to us multiple times what of a tactical genius he is. Yes, he hasn't won much, but bro, he knows how to play football.
And that's it, Nordin. You know what I mean? We're talking about football. We're talking about tactics. What do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjær has to prove on to say he's a main man, to say, you know what, I can be a tactical man? You know what I mean? In terms of games where, against the big teams, I think it's a case of, you know what I mean? I think the players rise up to it. I think, you know what I mean? It's a level of, you know, he'll show that, he'll mention it, how big of a game it is in terms of Derby, Liverpool game and whatnot. But I want to know, in terms of the teams against Newcastle, when we had lost 1-0, against Bournemouth, when they never scored in about 36 hours of football, against Everton, Aston Villa, where we needed to win the game and we didn't have no answers. Like, I remember all the games against Watford, you know what I mean? When they had more managers than wins, you know what I mean, Nordin? When can he understand that? You know what? I've got to play a different style sometimes. I can't just do 4-3-2-1. I can't always do, you know what I mean, Martial through the middle, Rashford on the left. Because then again, I remember one game, Rashford was playing against Mariappa, 34 years old. You know what I mean? End of his career. And he had no answers, Rashford, because he wasn't coached properly. He wasn't told, you know what? I want you to go on the right, maybe. I want you to play behind Martial. I want you to say, you know what? I want to sit down Martial. I'm going to play the number 10. When is Ole Gunnar Solskjær going to adapt tactically? I don't know. I'm a bit worried about Ole tactically.
No, he's adapted, man. In the big games, he's shown a lot.
But big games are good, yeah.
Big games
are good, though.
His tactics in
Small
the big
games are where you get top 4.
Listen, in the tactics in the big games have been second to none. He sat down everybody. He sat down Mourinho, Pep. No manager in the history has beaten Pep, right? The amount of teams
Does that define you as a manager, though? Does that define you as a manager?
What I'm trying to explain to you, I'm just making that point. The thing that when it comes to small teams, you have to be able to create things. We've not had creative players. Now, I'm going to go something back to you and remind you guys something. In the last 3 games at Old Trafford, Burnley has gone up 2-0 3 times. What does that show you? That's on the Mourinho's as well.
Well, that just shows you that we're not being maybe barely a bogey team. That's
what I'm saying. Burnley. That's why I always say. Did you ever remember my tweets? You remember me, guys, talking to you before a Burnley game, telling you this is a massive game for them. This is a derby for them. You don't understand how much of a derby this is. And we go there and go. The fans get let. Do you think if the fans are lackadaisical going, it's only Burnley? Do you not think that's going to transmit to the players?
Well, yeah. No.
The players are human, but to me, in all of those games that you talked about, Man United made chances. I don't mind losing a game, right? I don't mind, even though I hate to lose a game.
I hate losing games.
Yeah, but what I think, Aline, is if they're goalkeeper man of the match, how many times we hit the post and bar? Did we create? Because some games you could watch, a team could get 1 or 2 chances, they'll take it, bang, bang, and then you hammer that team, like in terms of football that you played, in terms of chances you create, and it's not your day. But for me, Ole Gunnar Solskjær, like I said to you, and I'll go back to my answer that I gave previously, he worked on the defense, and he spent money on the defense, and he's worked out a midfield now with Fred. You know, the way he's improved Fred and got Fred,
But tactically has he improved.
But tactically, you could have all the tactics. You're not opening teams up who sit back. You know, the most hardest thing in football now, the biggest thing leveler in football throughout the world, right, has been that defenders are more clued on because there's a lot of work done defensive shape-wise.
Yeah,
you can get 2 backs of 4, you can get like 11 players defending behind the ball, and it's really difficult to open them up. If you haven't got proper, like, recognized chance takers, do you know what I mean? Like somebody like, Igalo will know. He'll tell the guys, I know where I'm going to be. Deliver that ball to that area, and I will get there, right? Yeah. Martial and Rashford are not that type of strikers. They're more take the ball to feet, run up somebody, play a quick 1-2. We've not had a proper striker since Zlatan, right? Who's getting in the right position, in the right time, in the right place, right? So Ollie's not had a kind of striker like that. Igalo has. Igalo was showed in 2 games against Man City. Balls licked up to him. It's just out of this world, mate. Just like an absolute velvet touch, mate. Velvet touches. So Ollie is not at that type of player. Like I said, the pressure will be on Ollie next season, or when the football begins again, against those small teams, because that's your bread and butter. You have to, as a team, you have to be motivated. Manager's got to do that, right? You got to be motivated. You can't take Burnley because it's Burnley, but you have to have the creative players on the pitch to make that magic. So if United were to...
So what does he do as a manager then? Where does he come into it then?
He comes into making the right substitutions. If you got quality players, managing the players. Now, I have criticised Ole more than anybody else in terms of, you have sat next to both of you in the game, and I've gone, what was he bringing on for what? Do you understand what I'm saying to you? Yeah. But then sometimes I've looked at the bench and thought, this game's not for flipping, it's not for Mata. He's only got Mata on the bench to bring on. Who else has he got to bring on? So I've looked at games like that. Our bench has been bare. You fill that with quality, then, like I said to you, both of what you say, I will 100% agree with, because the full pressure will be on Ole. It will be on him, not the players. It'll be on you, because did you make the right substitutions? Did you work out a system of attack, of getting players in the right? Are you overworking the players? The thing that shocked me the most, right, was that Rashford, and something came out, and I don't know if it was a rumor or I don't know if it's true, but I heard that Rashford was going to come fight to get back, to get before the end of the season, even with that fragile back. You know, Van Persie explained it. If you don't rest that back, if that back doesn't recover well, if you come back too quickly, you could be it could really damage your career. And apparently Rashford was willing to do that. If I can be critical of one thing about Ole, is that the burnouts of players. But when you've got quality in the squad, You don't have to play as you can.
The Wolves game when he didn't need to bring on Rashford. He didn't really need to bring him on.
I was absolutely fuming. Right, well, Aaron, did we watch that game together? Did me and you watch the Wolves game together?
Yeah, I think so. Yeah.
I think I was fuming. I was absolutely fuming when Rashford. But Aaron, I don't know if you heard, but I just said.
Yeah, I heard you.
Yeah, Rashford was gonna try to come back. Like
I remember there was a game where you and me sat next to each other, and you kept telling me like, Aaron, look at Rashford. He's not well. He is not well. Look at the way he's moving. Look at the way he's running. Look at the way he's holding his back. But no, he doesn't really want to hold it because he doesn't want.
I've noticed that every time I've noticed Rashford in the last 2 years, he's always like this on his back.
Bro,
I've never looked into it.
And Norden kept telling me that, I can't remember what game. I think it was Norwich. It was the game before he got injured. It was Norwich, when we sat right in the middle and we kept talking about Buendia running midfield.
Yeah.
It was that game. Norden kept telling me, bro. He said, Aaron, look at Rashford. He's not well. I can see it. I can sense it.
Burnt out, bro. Burnt out. I kept telling you about Dan James as well. Burnt out. So burnt out, lactic acid. And then he was out for 2 weeks, remember? He comes back in full of energy again. So Fergie, one of the best things Fergie was good at was that my biggest criticism of Ole is the substitutions and taking players out when they're burnt out, knowing that. But he has this British bulldog mentality, Norwegian bulldog mentality. Oh, come on, die for that. No, I'm not about that. Real cause you realize that, and then you look at our medical team.
Wow. I mean, what medical team?
You know what? And then manager's responsible for things, but you're only good as your medical team. You're only good as your fitness. You know what I mean? Like too many of them pulling muscle injuries and all sorts of things. But we need a squad of quality. And to me, then everything will be answered. Everything will be answered. Is Ole the guy to take us to that next level? Or is he, like he said, the middleman? Is he just a guy to get that good factor feeling, family feeling again?
And that is what I always come back to.
Where we like the players, we have a connection because Mourinho made us hate everything. We hated everything. You know what I mean? So is he guy who makes us fall in love with football again? And you compare to the goals we've scored on the Ole, compared to the goals we've scored on the Mourinho. Look at the way even the fans celebrate. There is a massive difference. The types of goals that we've scored. There is more actually pattern because the thing about what they say about Mourinho is about tactics, where he wants the midfielders to be, about the low blocks, where he wants the wingers to be. We used to have like Mkhitaryan playing as a left back. You know? So the thing about with Ole, you've actually seen team goals, pattern goals, like you say, like
at certain areas, not great, but yeah.
You might call it freestyle, but there is some work being done, right? There's some work being done. And if you had more quality, like all of the time, like even against Man City, Ole came and hammered. He hammered Martial. He hammered Bruno. I think he hammered Dan James. He hammered Dan James more, I think. And he was like, if they would have cut that back, and he said they do it in training, they cut that ball back, that's another goal. So United could have scored, but they were greedy. They were greedy to see the big headlines in it. And that's when you know, for me, now coming on to what's Ole improved. I see improvement in the confidence of a youngster like Williams. I see massive improvement in Greenwood, like handling that pressure. No way. Only I think Bengal, out of all the managers, and Fergie would have given confidence like that to come on. I see the goals that Rashford's scoring. Rashford's not thinking, and Ole has said he works with him. He works with him and Martial. Martial linking up the play, the different kind of finish. No way under Mourinho was Martial ever scored a header like that against Chelsea. No in the hell way.
He would have taken Martial off for getting in that striker position in the first place.
Wow. No, but it's true though. Nobody speaks of positives, and I want to put positives out there. You know what I mean? I'm not just a negative guy. You know what I mean? I want to give some positives here and there. But what all positives? What Nobody is saying though is that not a person that could just be like a director of football, Aaron? You know what I mean? That person that can nurture talent in. He's bringing in the youth in. He's bringing in, you know what I mean, a good positive round of stadium. He's making people love coming to Old Trafford. That, for me, sounds like a director of football to me. That can almost give...
You mean technical. Director of football is an agent. Director of football is an agent. He deals with transfers. Technical. Yeah. Technical director.
For me, that looks like a perfect technical director. I don't know about you, Aaron.
I think it does, man, because he's good at it. He's good at what he does in terms of like spotting talent and stuff. Because who would have thought of including Brandon Williams in the squad? I wouldn't. I certainly wouldn't. I mean, I didn't, to be very honest with you, until he got into the first team, I didn't really hear of him, you know. I hadn't really heard of him.
Yeah.
So I think in terms of, you know, spotting the talent, he's very good at it. So why not move him up, you know, to the technical director role? You know, let him have a say in terms of who comes in, who comes through the ranks, because he seems to have that connection a lot with the youth. And a lot of youth players seem to have a lot of faith now that they can make it to the first team, because remember when we played against Astana away, we basically went with the youth squad.
Yeah.
So he's got that connection with the youth. So why not put him in that position? Yeah, I agree.
It's a stubbornness, no, Aaron, I want to come back to you again. It's a stubbornness, though, of saying that he is a manager and he has got tactics and he has got everything that he needs to be to become a manager. Is that could be his downfall? You know what I mean? Could the fact that he wants a job so badly, he loves the club. He's been here since what, 20, 25 years onwards. He came here when he was 23. You know what I mean? The baby-faced assassin. You know what I mean? The stubbornness to say, you know what, I'm a legend at a football club, so why can I not do well as a manager? Sometimes, you know what I mean, two things don't go in hand in hand. You know what I mean? Klinsmann for Bayern Munich, did that work out for you, Aaron?
Nah,
did
that was a fail.
You know what I mean? There's been managers out there, you know what I mean? What's his name? There's been managers out there that have been legends at the football club, yeah? Legends. And when they've come to the manager role, it's not worked out. I think Zidane's only a few cases where it's worked out. So does that show you, is he stubborn to think, you know what? Or does he thinks that, you know what, I've got nothing to lose here. I have got nothing to lose.
I mean, when you get the managerial role at Manchester United, obviously you want to try everything you can to stay in that position, because let's not get it twisted. Yeah, no matter how many managers we had, no matter how many managers we've not liked, it is a very prestigious role in it. Like, to be the manager of Manchester United is.
Tell your grandkids one day. And go, I manage Man United. Woo.
Exactly. There you go. That's a story to tell to your grandkids. So it is a very prestigious role. So I do understand when, you know, he wants to try everything, but you still have to, you know, think logically sometimes. And I'll come back to what Nudin said, the whole burning out the players. As much as you love the club, bro, these are humans as well, innit? Like, Ollie, you've been a player. You understand. You've been part of a team. You've been part of a squad that won the treble. In that season, you rotated massively. Like, you rotated massively. We had 4 strikers. In fact, Andy Cole, Dwight York, Sheringham, and Ollie. So these 4 rotated massively. So you should know. I'm just thinking, like, you've been there, Ollie, so you should know that. So I don't know sometimes what's going on in his head. Like, I don't know. But
let me give you an example to that, Aaron.
Yeah.
In the semi-final game for that treble season at Villa Park against Arsenal, Ryan Giggs was injured, like carrying an injury. Andy Cole was in the stand. Dwight York was in a substitute. He started Ollie and Sheridan. And I think was Beckham more inside? Did Beckham play on the right? But he was
playing on the right.
He played on the right, but he was coming in a lot in the inside of midfield, because that goal United scored, Beckham's first goal, he was dead central. He wasn't out wide. And
No.
Yeah, who played out wide? Was it Blomqvist? I think it was Blomqvist. Yeah, Blomqvist played. Then Giggs came on for Blomqvist. So the rotation Fergie was just absolutely next levels of rotations, like madness of it. But that's my biggest criticism of Ollie is that, and some of the substitution, like you said, bringing on Luke Shaw.
That comes to management, though. That comes to actual being a proper manager to understand when you bring on subs, when you do that, when you do this.
Yeah, at a top level, there is a bit where he's learning on the job. There is a bit where he's learning on a job, 100%. He's learning on a job, and I think he's getting used to it. But I always think, like I said, the quality will come. Like the biggest criticism I have of Ollie is that he burns players out. And I don't like that, because I don't trust our medical department. So when you've got a bad medical department, right, and then you've got manager burning players out, I understand, like Rashford is this kind of like a Wayne Rooney mentality. I want to play. Wayne Rooney took bare injections, man. You don't understand.
Of course.
To play, you know what I mean? He was play. There was one season, I think, was it 10? Like 2010, I think it was. He was playing with so many like injuries every other day. He was doing what Rashford does, like touching his foot, like just doing that, like, as you can see him limping parts of it, and then the ball comes into him, and then he's smacking it. So there is an aspect of those things that are happening, and I just feel as though that it's not easy 100%, it's not easy. And I think that all will be answered. If Man United had the quality, Saeed, everything that you said, all your criticism, all of it will be laid to bear. Like, all of it would be laid to bear. Like, you would see that clearly for yourself. To think, this guy is not a tactician. This guy is not taking it. This guy is burning play. But that, to me, is my biggest reservations about Ole. And if I ever saw him in the street, I'd just say to him, Ole, you've played football. I know you were a substitute. And I know that you had energy and you watched the games and you tactically worked out. So you knew exactly when to come on and to do that. But because I think it's because he's never played like, he's never been burnt out himself because he was a substitute. And United were always a talent. So he doesn't know that. He
doesn't feel that,
not knowing it. So if I ever seen him shopping anywhere, I just say to him, Ollie, you know I'm your biggest fan. You know what I mean? I've even named the juice after you, man. You know what I mean?
Show him the juice.
I will show him the juice and I'll tell it to him, Ollie, one thing about you, you don't realize that because you were a substitute, how players fatigued and how burnt out it was. And I say, Ollie, flipping it, man. Sack that medical team and start again, man. Get all the top experts, man. Man United should have the best medical team in the world. Get that sorted. Because we need the players back. Players getting injured is part of football. But it's how quickly can you get your players back?
And obviously that just goes down to the point of, you know what I mean, the tools needed for Ole Gunnar Solskjær to succeed, you know what I mean? What do you believe the tools needed for Ole Gunnar Solskjær to succeed? You're talking about transfers and whatnot, but as a person himself, what does he need, the tools he needs to succeed? In terms of, is it a case of just confidence? Is it a case of, you know, can I maybe try things? Can I risk take? I want Ole to risk take things out. I want him to go, you know what? If we were 2-0 down, you know what? Let's go 4-4-2 one time. Can he risk take Ole? Do you believe he can risk take?
I think that's what he has to do. I think that's what he has to do because that's what Fergie was. And even Fergie, before he came in, he was like, yeah, let's go a hammer. And that's the Man United way. If there's any way it is Man United, it's the Man United way to risk it all. And that's the thing that why we didn't, you know, at the end, Van Gaal and Mourinho both, because they weren't willing to risk it all.
No.
You know what I mean? They weren't willing to risk it all. And that's the big thing. Mourinho will only risk it all when Man United will lose it, like really losing. And then he's the pressure, you know what I mean? He'd be thinking, damn, what am I going to say now in a press conference? You know what I mean? But Ole has to, I think, to get a bit of confidence. But to me, Ole, if he was to get a couple of 2-3 good players in a transfer, then Man United have to kick on. So exactly what you said. Games are like Burnley, no chance. We cannot lose. We cannot lose. Away or at home, we cannot lose. Like if you said, if the team was to beat us, they have to have earned it. They have to have played amazing to beat us. Do you know what I mean? We have to know those things. To bring those values of Man United that say, we do everything to win. Do you know what I mean? We're willing to do everything to win and build that team bond and team spirit. But only time will tell because he has to get the backing again. For me, for Man United to kick on, he'll have to get the backing again. And then you will get your wish, Saeed. Because if he's not good enough then, we'll have to go and try and get a better manager then. Do you know what I mean? Somebody with a better quality. You know, my dream is to nick when Leeds come up to nick Bielsa from
Bielsa. Wow. I don't think the club will do that though. Long-term vision is 67, 66 right now.
My dream is, you know, anything can happen, mate. Who would have thought Solskjær will ever manage Man United, mate? Nobody.
There you go. Never. Nobody. Who would have thought David Moyes would manage Man United? No one knew that ever.
I really want to talk about a player actually. What we link. I don't know if you want to talk about a little bit of the transfer, but the madness of that. We're linked with Declan Rice. I'm sorry to say, but Declan Rice is not showing me a massive quality that he is anywhere good enough to start. I want us to buy. I don't want us to buy squad players. I want us to buy guys who are going to be certain to start in our team. Thomas Partey is a
solid player, though. Is he a solid player, Declan Rice?
He's a good player, but you know what he is? I'll say this to you, and it's simple, and I'll say it only to you once. He's the David Moyes of central midfielders.
Wow. Declan Rice surely got a bit of style about him, surely. No, you're not having it. For 70 million as well.
Are you kidding me? When Thomas Partey, I think Thomas Partey is twice as good as him. Even more.
And he's on the level of Ndidi, you know what I mean?
That's what I'm saying, Thomas Partey. And he's 43 million. Clause. Pay that money, Man United. Get him here.
But that's the problem again. Is what does Ole Gunnar Solskjær like though? Does he like players that can be straight from the Premier League? You know what I mean? Like
I think I think it's about speaking to the player. If you can imagine bare Ghanaians. You can imagine we might even think Thomas Partey was a United fan. You know, as a kid, we don't know that. We you know, that's what I'm saying. And if you got Igalo hanging around, you got West Africa in the house, mate. Are you kidding me? Like, sometimes these things happen, you know. Like, you think, oh, I'm gonna go there. Pogba, Igalo, Fernandes. You know what I mean? You think, oh, you know what? Yeah. You think of Rashford and Martial. Like, these players can attract other players. So, to me, Declan Rice, 70 million. Are you having a laugh? He's not worth that. He's worth 30 million. For his quality, he is, Saeed. I'm sorry to say. When I look at him, I think, how much better are you better than on the ball? Even in every, is he that much better than McTominay? I don't think he is.
Yeah, not better.
I'm sorry to say I don't.
I like him though. I really like him in terms of way he gets out of spaces.
You can like what you want. I like Messi. Does that mean Messi is gonna fit?
But Barkley went for 50 million to Chelsea.
No. Yeah, Barkley's a better player than Declan Rice. I would have Barkley. Me personally, Barkley on the bench. Are you kidding me? I think Barkley's good. I know again, one thing I would guarantee for Barkley, games against Liverpool, I would start him in the games, mate. I'm telling you.
Let's run down the box.
You see that goal he banged up against them? He knocked them out of the FA Cup.
If you talk about transfer, what do you think Ole Gunnar Solskjær? Does Ole Gunnar Solskjær want a classic number 9? Does he want a proper centre half alongside Maguire? What do you think Ole Gunnar, for you personally, and you know Ole Gunnar Solskjær more than me, what would you think he would want personally?
I think you have to add more creativity into the team.
Is he kind of like that style of manager that would like that?
I think a creativity. Because I can only talk about what he says. I know sometimes he thinks he's on Comedy Central when he's on the press conferences, you know what I mean? Coming out with these comedic, like, one-liners.
Yeah.
But I genuinely think he would like another striker. I think even Igualo stays. I think another striker because you have to have a good bench. You have to be able to have a good bench. And knowing that Man United have injuries, I think if Ole, he would have to think he can't burn players out, like Dan James and that. He'll have to pick the games, like Fergie used to. Fergie used to come to players and go, "You're not playing this week. You're not playing next week.
Yeah.
But the 2 weeks, two games after that,
you're playing then."
Starting for those games. Like, that's what Fergie used to do. And I think obviously he loves Fergie and he wants to be on that kind of whaling. But
I think that's the one thing that he's got in his favour though. Is a likeable character. You know, if Fergie's there. That's one thing that might stand him fast.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. But he has to learn quickly because he's learning on the job. This is not like the team that he's managing in Norway or Cardiff.
Oh.
This is Manchester United. And at times, I think he's acquitted himself well. At times, I'm like, who the hell is this guy? Who's this imposter? And you know me, I backed him because I'm like, I give him 2 full seasons. And then after that, I'll make I think, you know what, this is, especially given when he's supported. So I think if you could get someone like Koulibaly, I think you have to go in the market because he's a special player, right? If that means going playing against alongside Maguire, we're sorted. Like for at least another 4 or 5 years, we're sorted. I think in that. If you think that Thomas Partey becomes available and it's 43 million, I think I would pay that. If you're thinking that, I mean, I heard
that's about 100
Dembele and Leon saying, "Rescue me," you know what I mean? To me, you have to be able to get a striker that thinks because apparently
there's an option in terms of Sancho.
Yeah, there's a mystery striker in it, mystery striker. So I said four good players in positional players, a striker, and maybe a Koulibaly who's going to play in, like guys who are going to go in, not guys who are going to get around as well, guys who are going to go into the first team straight in, like Igalo. Sancho, Thomas Partey, Koulibaly. And maybe
there, 3.
You know what I mean? Those 3, I would do. A striker maybe that can then maybe supplement. You know what I mean? That who's good enough, who can do good things. That's if Igalo stays and Rashford and Martial that can play on the left. Sometimes can play on somebody who's got pace but also can finish. Yeah, I think you know what I mean. You could bring someone like that. But I think that's the next part of it is to work at the creativity of Man United. Can we be more creative? Can we have quality players? When we get those chances up the pitch against the small teams, like we make chances. Even though we might not make loads of chances, we make chances. Can we have guys who are cold-blooded that can finish? If they're not,
and that's the difference. I think that's the difference because you got Mane and Salah, You know what I mean? And they finish their chances. When they have it, they finish it. That's why I've always said Martial and Rashford, they're good. But can you rely on them to score 30 goals a season? That's been only my problem for me, Martial. I've always wanted a Harry Kane or a Jimenez who will score goals. I like Martial and Rashford, don't get me wrong. But I also think that you have to have a clinical striker. They have Aguero, Aubameyang. We look at Aguero, Aubameyang, and Salah. The top 3 teams there, and they all have clinical strikers. Man United have a striker, but they don't have it clinical enough.
Yeah, but then Saeed, you look at what Ole did. Clever move Ole did. He brought Brandon Williams in. Shaw had to step up his game. Could you imagine if you had like another maybe 1 or 2 strikers, or 1 striker, or another guy? You know what I mean? Like, I 100% think like if he stays, Igalo's going to put pressure on those guys to be brought in certain games. And if you got another striker and you add Sancho to the mix, then you know those players have to step up and think, damn, I have to fight for my position. So like a lot of talented forwards, only the clinical. If you score, you play. So I'll be fair. Even though I love Martial, right, and I love Rashford, if they're not banging in, get them on the bench, mate. I'm about Man United winning. I'm not about certain one individual or 1 or 2 players. Do you know what I mean? So that's what it's about for me. That's what it's about for me.
So we're gonna wrap this up. For you, is he gonna be the main man or the middle man? What's your belief?
Sometimes I think when the results are really bad, I think he's a middleman. But then when he goes,
so you're flip flopping. Then you're flip flopping.
No, when 10 games in a row and the team's playing and I see cohesion and I see the likability, the team chemistry, I think, you know what? Maybe he could if he had more quality. I think if he had more quality, that will be answered.
Sancho comes this season. Sancho comes next season, and we have let's say we buy a centre back. Thomas Partey, Sancho. If they come in this season, is he the main man or the middle man?
If Thomas Partey, Sancho, and Koulibaly come in, then
okay. Then we'll start on the transfers.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm still think he's going to be the middle man.
I think Grealish. We need Grealish as well. I think, and then we need a striker because at the end of the day, Man United need to be. That's what I'm saying to you. When at the height of when
United's aim as well. United aim for top 4 or title.
Yeah, when we were the most the treble winning team, people forget that we had 4 strikers. And they complemented each other. We had a number 10 in Dwight York, like a number 10, number 9 kind of, got number 10. And, and our striker, like Andy Cole, who can run the channels. And then we had Terry Sheringham, then we had Ole Gunnar Solskjær, who can run the channels and can also get a near post and front post. You know what? I'm not lying to you. I've been watching games of that 1990. I'm telling you, Terry Sheringham was cold, mate.
Cold, man.
You know what? Cold as ice. Yeah. I bought so much quality. Like, what he could do, nobody else could do in that team.
And the headers, man. I remember every time the headers, man. It was unbelievable.
Flick-ons, man. The flick. Forget that. My guy used to set people up. It's like through balls as flick-ons, mate. That's why.
Yeah. And it was approaching his 30s at United, wasn't it, when he came?
Yeah, next level, man. Next level. You know what? You know what? I seen him once. I was in London. I was coming up at a club and he was.
He looks fit, doesn't he?
He was driving, and you know what? If I seen him now, I will go up to him and shake his hand and go, you know what? Without you, there ain't no trouble, man. 100%.
Well, there wasn't. The flick on.
You know what? He's underrated, man. He's so underrated, man. Especially at Man United. He was incredible, man.
It was a brilliant play for Tottenham, you know what I mean? West Ham and whatnot. So, yeah, man. But, guys, that's been your podcast 65 or 66. I don't know. You know what I mean? The quarantine made me all messed up, you know what I mean? But I don't know, man. Let me know what your thoughts in the comments below. Is Ole Gunnar Solskjær the middle man, or is he the main man for you? Is he the one that's going to take United to the glory in? Or do you think it's going to be the stepping stone that's going to bear the fruits for the other managers to come in and say, you know what, here's Wan-Bissaka for the next 5-10 years. Here's a good defence. Here's a good midfield. Do you know what? You carry on the next team until the next forward. I don't know. I still believe we can get a better manager that can take us to the next level. But I am going to see what Ole Gunnar Solskjær is going to do, because at the end of the day, there isn't anyone out there right now that's going to take the job. And I feel like it is respectful that Man United, obviously, due to this virus that's happening right now, it has kind of almost given Ole Gunnar Solskjær another second chance, if you call it. You know what I mean? The run he had in, it's almost a perfect time. He stopped that. You know what I mean? Like you know what, man? It probably is the perfect time he stopped that. But guys, make sure you follow our Mr. R United. Obviously, he's just gone on and onto another channel. But yeah, man, go follow him, Mr. R United, on all platforms: YouTube, Twitter, Facebook, all that. Learn in your socials, mate.
That guy Red Devil, mate. That guy Red Devil on Twitter. I've not been that active. It's been weird because I like reacting to games. I like talking about games before, after. I and I've not had that. You know what I mean? At least you guys have got FIFA Pro and all that. You know what I mean? I'm still Saeed out. You know what I mean? I'm still Saeed out, mate. You know what I mean? I'm Saeed out. I've watched one or two, mate.
Yo, listen, man, it's been stressful, but you know what, man? At times like this, you know what I mean, you got to find something and whatnot. So what's your plans anyway? Just to wrap up. And you got plans?
I'm gonna chill. I had a good day. The sun's come out again, so I'm gonna go and check out the sun.
Yeah, sun's come out. Just get your head in there. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I was out in it today, to be fair. I got a bit of sun today, so I'm glad because it was cloudy. But yeah, I had a good day, man. I had a good day, bro. I had a good day. Yeah.
That's it, man. Guys, I hope you like this video. Subscribe to United Central. Road to 15K, guys. If you are watching this video, please subscribe. It'll be bottom right-hand corner. Make sure you do subscribe. Smash a like on the video, man, and let me know what your comments are. Are you still Ole in? Are you Ole out? Do you think are you believing that we could be something out there that could be better? What do you think Ole needs to improve on? Let me know in the comments below, guys. Let's make sure we're interactive. And yeah, guys, that's been your Straightjacket podcast. It's not been crazy. We've not had, you know what I mean? You know what I mean? We're trying to find content to bring you out there, but I hope you enjoyed this podcast out, guys. Lauren, I'll see you soon. Aaron, I'll see you soon. And take care, guys. Enjoy your time. Stay safe. Stay indoors. That's the main thing. And we will get through this. We will get through this.
Wash your hands and wash your body.
Wash your hands and wash your body. Take care, guys. Bye-bye. Peace.